Saturday, the 28th of October 2023. Thank you very much for joining us for the main news on Camnet TV. To present it, my name is Makokwa Kozi. First, let's take a look at the stories making the headlines. Former President Edgar Lungu returns to active politics. Police in Lusaka arrest 223 people following a raid in the notorious CHIBOLYA compound. Over 1,427 married couples working within the public service reunited. And in international news, residents flee as M23 rebels reach town of BAMBO in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. And in sports news, New Zealand and South Africa clash in Rugby World Cup final. For details of these and other stories, join us shortly after this break.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back, and now the news in detail. The government has been urged to consider banning ginger imports to support the local farmers. A ginger farmer based in the northwestern province, Eunice Masheka, explains that the market for ginger has become difficult because it is being imported in large quantities from other countries, such as Malawi. She was speaking during a training for smallholder farmers by the Remnant Farmers Organization in Lusaka. Remnant Farmers founder Ruth Sibanda says crop diversification and value addition are key to improving agriculture productivity and enhancing incomes among farmers. Here's a report.
Crop diversification in the agriculture sector has been sung for a long time, but over-dependence on maize tend to overshadow any commitment to promote other crops, thus making it obvious that the country only has one staple food. An organization calling itself Remnant Farmers wants to contribute to the crop diversification agenda by equipping the farmers with practical skills on how to farm and add value to crops they produce for maximum profits. The farmers are trained to know how to cultivate chili, ginger, Irish potatoes, and garlic, and the recent activity was held at Yuba Farms in Lusaka West. Eunice Masheka is a ginger farmer based in northwestern province. She explains that market for ginger has become difficult because it is being imported in large quantities from other countries such as Malawi.
I've been growing ginger for a lot of years. For the past 5 years I've been growing ginger. Last year I grew 5 hectares of ginger. Ginger is quite profitable, and that is what has brought me into remnant farming, because I really want to find a market for this ginger. In the past years, market hasn't been a problem, but recently market has been swallowed by ginger that is coming from outside, from Zambia.
She has appealed to the government to consider banning ginger imports to support the local farmers.
We have ginger from Malawi, from Tanzania, and from these other countries. If at all we are appealing to the government as small-scale farmers for ginger, if at all they can curtail the importation of ginger from these other countries so that they boost our local small-scale farmers, because this is a great source of income for our local small-scale farmers. The previous years when ginger was being sourced just from Zambia, we saw a lot of young people from Northwestern growing ginger and benefiting and taking themselves to school. And
Remnant Farmers founder Ruth Sibanda says they are using organic farming to steer crop diversification and value addition.
We taught them on how to make compost manure and the organic foliar fertilizer. So we did it in demo. They have been doing it online. So we came to say, okay, the things that we learn online, now you can, let's do them as practical as a demo. So we did that part. The second thing that we went in teaching farmers on how to make a health nursery bed, a health chili nursery bed. After that, we also did on how to make plant chili to transplant. We also went into garlic planting, red onion, and Irish potatoes. Our goal is to build a well-oriented farmer that is able to produce quality produce for the quality market that we have. And
the Ministry of Agriculture is happy with the initiative.
Looking at it also on value addition, it's very good because we know that if the value is added to our produce, we'll vary for something that is a higher price. The ultimate goal is for us to increase our incomes so that economically and socially it's beneficial to our small-scale farmers.
Interesting. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
A 32-year-old Burundian refugee who has been in detention for over 2 weeks without being subjected to bond has appealed to relevant authorities to intervene in her matter. The woman, identified as Diana, was arrested over 2 weeks ago by immigration officers in Kafue district while on her way to Chirundu to get married to a man she had dated for 2 months. She was arrested for being found outside the refugee camp. Meanwhile, Movement for Promoting National Values and Principles CEO Joseph Kunda expressed concern over the continued detention of refugees without taking them to court. He says anyone found in conflict with the law should not be kept in detention for too long without being taken to court. Here's a report.
What was supposed to be a happy occasion for this 32-year-old Burundian refugee in Zambia turned into an unfortunate event. The 32-year-old, identified as Diana, was on her way to Chirundu district in Southern Province for a wedding. However, her dreams were cut short after immigration officers in Kafue district pounced on her for having an expired gate pass. She was arrested for being found outside the refugee camp. However, her complaint is that she has continued to remain in detention for over 2 weeks without being subjected to bond. A friend who was escorting her to Chirundu district was also arrested. Lucky for her, she got released on medical grounds.
Napelekeza muzanga enda tuta wedding afuna kushita wedding so twaenda twapita Kafue after kufika badufunza mapepa tabirangazana mapepa marriage gate pass so gate pass mozi bapeza ati ili na mistake wamene anapanga kisana pange bwino bara wamene badupasa so mwene wake wa gate pass sazi bakubirenga yatuma badadi bake ni bashukuru so twangena maseos ineneze ko dasinimvira bwino after kumperekeza muzanga ko kuri wedding ni gifundo chabe na bwera simu ntendeze ko ninende kubona abana nasi abana na dwara sugar na bibi bakana after gutumira phone ba Joseph Kunda atuyo muntu ni odwara ni refugee tumuzibane na barangiza ko.
She is now pleading with the authorities to have a friend released.
Ko chabe ine tuli ba refugee kuri be hoenda kuri be na gutaba ku ni ku camp pamene tukara chabe kubwera kuno ni kubwera gutandara oro guposha na chabe turibe na chito turibe chiri cyose ni kutendeza ko ni ba refugee chabe tugafuna kubona ko bazatu baturekere tende kubona ko bazatu.
Meanwhile, Movement for Promoting National Values and Principles Chief Executive Officer Joseph Kunda expressed concern over the continued detention of refugees without being taken to court.
We are following up a case involving a refugee by the name of Diana, who comes from Burundi. She was apprehended over 2 weeks ago by the immigration around Kafue area, and since then she has been in detention at Shikoswe police post.
Mr. Kunda, whose organization deals in handling the plights of refugees in Zambia, says anyone found in conflict with the law should not be kept in detention for too long without being taken to court.
So we feel this is mistreatment and abuse of human beings, and it's unexpected in a democratic country that upholds Christian values. We don't expect such. And as an organization, we have taken this issue very, very seriously because it's just one of the precedences taking place across the country. As I'm talking to you, there are hundreds of refugees who are in detention.
By broadcast time, the immigration spokesperson had not responded to a press query. Zambia hosts over 80,000 refugees, asylum seekers, and others of concern. The majority of people of concern are refugees from the Democratic Republic of Congo and the wider Great Lake region, as well as Angola and Rwanda former refugees. The people of concern reside in Mantapala, Maheba and Mayukwayukwa refugee settlement, as well as in Lusaka and other urban centers. Diana is however scheduled to appear before the Kafua Magistrate Court on Monday. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The University of Lusaka Vice-Chancellor Professor Pinalo Chifwanakeni has challenged students who have graduated from the institution to see beyond their qualification and add value to society. Speaking during the graduation of 1,250 students at Silverett's campus, Professor Chifwanakeni says looking beyond papers has the potential to develop society and leave legacies. Meanwhile, student representative Mpeta Chungu pledged to impact society positively. Here's a report.
The University of Lusaka has concluded the fruitful offload of 1,250 graduates during the 14th graduation ceremony held under the theme Building Futures, Creating Legacies. The graduation was graced by Java Foods Chief Executive Officer Monica Msonda Vechali, who advised the graduates to be resilient and add value to society through the various skills they have acquired. Ms. Musonda, in her address, challenged the graduates to look beyond challenges and provide solutions. Meanwhile, University of Lusaka Vice-Chancellor Professor Pinalo Chifwanakeni challenged the graduates to work tirelessly beyond the physical paper and add value to the growth of society.
So what you do here would probably help to shape your future because you start having the experience of managing things while you are a student. So, as leaving the legacy, let me now explain to you what the second part of our theme is, which is leaving the legacy. Now, creating legacies is important in both personal and business context because it enables people to have influence even after they have left. Legacies are not just about what you be born and who you leave these things to.
Go on. Let not your degree be an ego basis. Let your degree be something that people should be able to see the fruits of someone who is educated, that you shall add value to the institution where you are working. Let society implement be based on the outputs and not on the connections you have. You will not manage to live longer in life if you are fired for that.
Giving a vote of thanks on behalf of the graduates, Mpeta Chungu pledged to impact society in a good way through the skills acquired.
Our sacred task to shape the world where our legacy is not just a mark of history, but a beacon guiding those yet to come. Today we celebrate the end of our academic journey. This ceremony is a reflection of the hard work we put in, the resilience to bounce back, and the tenacity to contribute to the journey. We are reminded of the sleepless nights, the burden and inspiration, our progress of various courses, our various projects, and inventive oral presentations who are not available.
As the graduates take up the challenge of building futures, creating legacies, it was time to place the dancing skills to the occasion. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
A combined team of the police, the Department of Immigration and the Drug Enforcement Commission officers have again raided Lusaka's CHIBOLYA compound and arrested 223 suspects for various illegal activities. The suspects were arrested during a joint operation dubbed Muzakule, which was conducted in Lusaka's CHIBOLYA compound and started at around 01 hours to 6 hours on Saturday. They say that the operation was conducted in order to disrupt illegal activities in CHIBOLYA following numerous complaints from members of the general public. Here's a report.
A combined team of police, Department of Immigration and the Drug Enforcement Commission have again conducted a raid on Lusaka's notorious drugs den CHIBOLYA compound and arrested over 300 people for various offenses. The law enforcers say sanity is slowly returning to the notorious CHIBOLYA compound following the concurrent arrests that have been conducted in the area. Officers say success has been scored in ensuring that calm is restored in the once no-go area for law enforcement agencies.
As alluded to, we shall continue to work hand in hand with other law enforcement agencies in keeping illegal activities that are going on around Lusaka. As you can see from behind me here, that we have seized quite a number of quantities of cannabis and other drugs which have been seized in CHIBOLYA compound. This is an ongoing operation of the drug enforcement commission with other law enforcement agencies and also the immigration department for us to curb the illegal activities that are going on in Lusaka. We shall continue to pursue the illegal activities.
The commission has said, as for immigration, the number is 71. The suspected prohibited immigrants who have been apprehended, and we'll continue this operation. So hoping that by the end of it, it will be a successful operation.
Those arrested include 9 females picked for idle and disorderly conduct, 7 picked for drugs-related offense, while 71, among them 8 females, are suspected prohibited immigrants. The suspects are aged between 15 and 80. Items recovered during the operations include 12 plasma television sets and other household goods suspected to have been stolen. Other items also include 4 motor vehicles which were found abandoned during the cleanup operation. Authorities say the cleanup operation is in line with interagency framework agreement among law enforcement agencies to curb organized crime in the country. Miriam Kaemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Patriots for Economic Progress President Sean Tembo has been admitted to Chirenje First Level Hospital due to suspected typhoid. The opposition leader was arrested on Wednesday this week by the Zambia police for allegedly hate speech. The arrest is in connection to his Facebook posts targeted at President Hakainde Hichilema. Mr. Tembo was denied police bond and he has been detained at Chirenje Police Station. Earlier this week, some civil society organizations led by Chapter 1 Foundation expressed concern over the failure to uphold President Hichilema's directive to make sure that police bond and bail are granted to suspects within 48 hours. The United Party for National Development, UPND Deputy National Youth Chairperson Trevor Mwinde says accusations of the government supplying genetically modified organisms, maize, to the public is a mockery to farmers who are supplying the commodity. Mr. Mwinde says such accusations are unfounded and show that the opposition is bent on criticizing anything the government does, even actions meant to end the suffering of the Zambians. Mr. Mwinde was reacting to some opposition political parties condemning the government for allowing the Zambia National Service, ZNS, to supply mealie meal in ShopRite, alleging that some of the commodity is GMO.
I do believe that Ngatima politicians, they want to play politics. Let them play politics around the other political matters, not on the staple food, that which we sweat to produce. And we want to further state that the same politicians, they went on further to accuse the government that they are enriching ShopRite, which is an entity from South Africa. Okay, if we want to believe in that conversation, ShopRite came in Zambia in 1993, and the national milling, which is a national milling for the government of Zambia, they sell their rice, they sell their flour, including their merry meal, in the ShopRite. And how then has it changed and turned around that the UPND through Zambia National Service, they are enriching a foreign entity which is ShopRite checkers? People must be told the truth. The people that did the first engagement with ShopRite are national meeting, and the Zambia National Service is actually on firm ground. They should continue distributing not only to shops that which are like ShopRite, but to also well-established shops.
The Patriotic Front has commemorated the 9th memorial anniversary of its founder and 5th Republican President, Michael Sata. Former President Edgar Lungu led several PF officials, members, and the family of the late president to celebrate his life. St. Ignatius Parish Priest Father Andrew Simpasa urged the opposition party to remain united and keep the party intact. Here's a report.
Opposition Patriotic Front members turned out in numbers to commemorate the 9th memorial anniversary of its founder and 5th Republican President Michael Sata at the Cathedral of the Child Jesus. Mr. Sata died on October 28, 2014 while serving as President of Zambia. Former President Edgar Lungu this morning, Saturday the 28th of October 2023, led several Patriotic Front officials, members, and the family of the late president to celebrate his life. St. Ignatius Parish Priest Father Andrew Simpasa has urged the opposition party to remain united.
For President Michael Sata, the 5th Republican President, that he may rest in peace. As for you, my dear friends in the Patriotic Front, I know that you live in interesting times, and we pray for you that you find the requisite space to play your role in the evolving dispensation in the country, that you are going to provide the requisite and necessary checks and balances that are important in the governance of our country. We pray that you are going to survive the imingalato that is evolving, so that Anyway, may God make you a united front so that you might not be driven miles apart from each other, and please don't somehow love the party. In the name of the
Former National Democratic Congress leader Dr. Chishimba Kambli, who is also Patriotic Front presidential aspirant, remembers the late president as a humble person who cared for the poor.
Had regard for the poor people. Mr. Sata wanted to see a developed Zambia where all the citizens live a better and comfortable life. You remember one time he said Zambians do not need to be favored with development, but that they deserve the development and they deserve a better life. He's a man who understood the sufferings of the people, and he's a man who looked forward to seeing a Zambia that was well developed.
And opposition leader Harry Kalaba of the Citizen First Party remembers Mr. Sata as a person who helped him in his political career.
Mr. Sata was an all-encompassing man. He embraced both the rich and the poor, and he accepted to lower himself for the sake of everybody around. And so I remember him with a sense of nostalgia for all the good things that he stood for. Really, it is worth remembering a man of that caliber, because Zambia is better off as a result of Mr. Sata having been born, having been president in this country.
Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
Former President Edgar Lungu has announced return to active politics as he vows to save the Patriotic Front from going into oblivion. The country has been brewing with speculation surrounding the return of Mr. Lungu to active politics, with the government instituting legal recourse on the matter. Addressing scores of PF members during memorial service of Zambia's 5th President, Michael Sata, Mr. Lungu said his decision came after careful determination and is aware of the consequences of the move. Mr. Lungu stressed that he will not allow PF to die or other opportunistic individuals to create factions in the party as long as he is alive. The PF is embroidered in a fearful battle for leadership after Matero lawmaker Maoz Sampa assumed the helm of the party following a convention held on Tuesday in Lusaka. Here's a report.
We're going to follow the media, or we are going to be told that I have come out of retirement.
The speculations are over as Zambia's former and 6th president, Edgar Lungu, has announced return to active politics. This comes 4 days after Matero Member of Parliament, Mao Sampa, held an impromptu extraordinary general conference which elected him as president of the Patriotic Front, PF. Making his announcement at Memorial Park during the memorial of former President Michael Sata, Mr. Lungu disclosed that his decision came after thorough thought aimed at saving the former ruling party from collapse.
I don't want to die. I will also not allow factions within the party. I will also not allow opportunistic individuals to destroy the party. Hear this. Therefore, after a careful and deep reflection and wide consultation, including prayer, following naked efforts by those in power to annihilate the biggest opposition party, PF in Zambia today, the PF, using their stooges and institutions of governance, I have decided to return to active.
Without referring to individuals, Mr. Lungu also vowed to prevent factions in the party. Meanwhile, the memorial service was full of messages in songs and turnout, perhaps as a show of strength in the former ruling party. The Patriotic Front PF has been shifting goalposts on hosting its party conference since June 2022 to elect new leaders after Mr. Lungu has announced his retirement, perhaps was aimed to give room to the former head of state to make his decision. This was also characterized with some party officials making hints of his return into active politics. With the return of Mr. Lungu in active politics no longer speculation, President Hakainde Hichilema's question may now beg an answer.
Chakukola chimbala. Chimbala chakukola.
For Camnet TV News, Aphias Kaptula, Lusaka.
Acting Secretary to the Cabinet, Oliver Kalabo, has revealed that a total of 1,427 married couples working in the different geographical areas within the public service have been reunited. Dr. Kalabo says this is out of 5,672 transfer applications that the Civil Service Commission has received so far. Dr. Kalabo has also explained that in the Zambia Correctional Service, all applications were handled, followed by the Police Service Commission, which recorded 92% couple reunions out of 218 applications. Speaking during a press briefing in Lusaka, Dr. Kalabo has since urged the applicants to exercise patience as the service commissions have continued attending to the remaining 4,245 applications to ensure that they are concluded. He says the main challenge is that most applicants prefer to be transferred to urban areas where most structures have reached full staff complements. Here's the report.
Shortly after forming government in 2021, President Hakainde Hichilema directed for uniting of couples within the public service, judiciary and local government service. Following speculation on the implementation of the directive, government says 1,427 requests were processed under the program, representing 25% of the applications that were received, totaling to 5,672. Acting Secretary to Cabinet, Dr. Oliver Kalabo, says government will update the public on the process made with regard to the remaining 4,245 applications.
1,672 applications from employees in the public service, judiciary and local government service have been received. And as at 3rd September 2023, a total number of 1,427 requests were processed, representing a 25% application processed.
Speaking during a press conference Saturday morning, Dr. Kalabo has however urged applicant of unification program not to only consider urban areas for the program, stating that the trend is proving a challenge.
It may take a while, it may take slightly longer depending on the availability of position where they want to move. But more so, urge a number of them to accept when we decide to move the other couple who is in the urban area to join them in the rural area, because we are directing the commissions to be looking at that option very seriously. That when someone applies from a rural area, look at the person in the urban area, see if we can move that person to the rural area.
Meanwhile, Local Government Service Commission Chairperson Axon Sejani says the Commission will continue audit of staff in local authorities following damning revelations at the Lusaka City Council, LCC.
Carry out that exercise in the rest of the country, resources permitting. So we may not be moving at a rate that we would have wished because we are limited by availability of resources. Otherwise, that is our desire, to do what we did for the Lusaka City Council in all the 116 local authorities.
For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
On that note, we break for some commercials. We have more news coming up. Don't go away.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palavana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda.
Water is life. Each drop counts, and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms, Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. The government says it wants to prepare and empower young people to manage the country's natural resources like the slump dunk in Mufulira district on the Copperbelt province. Permanent Secretary in charge of Arts in the Ministry of Youth and Arts, Chamafumba, says the government does not want to repeat the previous mistake where some youths lost their lives at the Black Mountain in Kitwe. Meanwhile, Ministry of Information and Media Permanent Secretary Tabo Kawana says the current happenings in the Patriotic Front have nothing to do with the government. Mr. Kawana says the current leadership squabbles have everything to do with the failure of the party to hold a convention.
I agree with me that the issue of Black Mountain is a very sensitive issue. But also, it's a very delicate issue in that the government does not want to sponsor confusion. We've seen in the past where Black Mountain or such a favor was granted to youths without any proper structure, without any proper modality of how it was going to benefit the young people. It caused a lot more confusion in Kitwe. It caused a lot of confusion on the Copper Belt. The government is saying that wakazampishe that wakachipose everything about pose awe takulita ntameni takuli kuzampisha. The government wants to do the right thing. The government wants to empower young people. How do you empower young people? Take what mission. It's to equip them. It's to prepare.
Has totally nothing to do with the wrangles in PF. These wrangles are basically season 2 of the film or the movie we watched before. It's the same actors, the same people from Chawama and grabbed their party from those that were in Matero. Now in season 2, it's like the people from Matero are grabbing the party from those in Chawama. What has that got to do with government? How does State House come in? We know also what happened in 2014, 2015. The same players, EDGAR LUNGU, former President EDGAR LUNGU, Honorable Mao Sampa, the same actors, almost playing out the same things. How is it different today that you want to accuse the president, you want to accuse State House, you want to accuse government of being involved in your wrangles? These wrangles have got nothing to do with the government or the state. They themselves would have gone to a convention, they would have avoided those.
The Lumezi Town Council has set aside 8.9 million kwacha from the 28.3 million Constituency Development Fund CDF 2023 allocation, which will be used for the procurement of desks as well as the construction and completion of community projects. Lumezi Council Public Relations Officer Ivan Muyumbwa says the local authority has procured 4,000 school desks using the 2023 CDF in addition to the 3,500 desks procured using the 2022 funds. Mr. Muyumba says the procurement of desks is a response to the President's directive that no pupil should sit on the floor by the end of 2024.
The Town Council has set aside a total of 8,895,825 kwacha 19 ngwe from the 28.3 million kwacha Constituency Development Fund CDF allocation for the year 2023, and these resources are going to be used for the procurement of desks as well as construction and completion of community projects in the district. The local authority has procured under 2023 CDF a total of 4,000 desks in addition to the 3,500 school desks that were procured earlier this year using the 2022 CDF allocation. So the procurement of the 4,000 additional desks is a direct response to the presidential pronouncement that no pupil should be seated on the floor while in class by the end of the year 2023. So 15 contracts were signed for the supply and delivery of the 4,000 desks, and they are all valued at a total sum of 5,728,410 kwacha. Now, as a local authority, we have also signed contracts for 5 community projects that will be undertaken this year.
Kawambwa Town Council, through its public health section, has seized expired alcoholic beverages in Ntulo, Citrus and Central Business Districts. The local authority has also seized assorted alcoholic beverages from various business people for conducting their businesses without trading licenses. Kawambwa Town Council Public Relations Officer Norman Joe Kashi says this is a source of concern for the local authority, considering the high number of expired liquor products that would have been exposed to consumers had it not been for the intervention of the health inspectors from the council. Mr. Kashi says the local authority shall not hesitate to prosecute any business owners who will be found selling expired products to the general public, as well as those conducting businesses without trading licenses. He says the Liquor Licensing Act number 20 of 2011 clearly stipulates the requirements and guidelines that one must follow to set up a liquor business.
So it is worrying to find that the stocking and selling of expired products has increased, as well as people trading without licenses in the district has also increased. So some of the items that were seized by the health team include 153 cases of 1/6, that is Chibuku, which is 1.25 liters. Then we also had 52 bottles of First Choice whiskey. Then we had 13 bottles of Bose, and also some bottles of Eagle Lager, as well as Mossy. So if you look at the Liquor Licensing Act number 20 of 2011, it gives the guidelines and the requirements of how one can conduct a liquor licensing business. It also tells you how you can operate within your hours and also other things that are required. So finding people trading without licenses is quite serious, and it's a crime. If you also look at the Public Health Act Cap 295 of the laws of Zambia and the Food Safety Act number 7 of 2019, it also talks about stocking and selling of expired products being a serious crime because it is a health hazard to the people. So this is a source of great concern to the local authority, that is the Kawambwa Town Council, and we will not hesitate to prosecute all erring businesses. So those that were found wanting by our health department will be prosecuted. They'll face the law.
We take another set of commercials. We have more in international and sports news. Don't go away.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Are you planning to marry or get married? Contact the Camnet media team for a professional capturing of your big day in life. Let your relatives, friends and the nation join you in celebrating your big day on television. Just at a manageable fee, Camnet Television will cover and transmit your wedding on your channel of choice. Contact the marketing department on mobile number Camnet Television, not just another channel.
I give my love to having home. And as far
Welcome back, and now in international news, M23 rebels in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo on Thursday launched a new offensive north of the provincial capital Goma. An AFP team observes as fighting with the pro-government armed groups continued further south. The M23, which has captured swathes of territory in North Kivu province since 2021, is one of the several militants holding sway over much of the region despite the presence of peacekeepers. On Wednesday evening, mortar fire and rounds of automatic weapons were heard on the southern outskirts of the town of BAMBO, some 60 kilometers north of Goma. At midday on Thursday, shells hit the town center and thousands of panic-stricken residents began running north to reach government-controlled areas. We have more in African news in the following roundup.
Relentlessly fleeing for their lives, residents of Bambo, town north of Goma in the Democratic Republic of Congo, carried what they could Thursday as they ran to reach government-controlled areas. M23 rebels have launched a new offensive against the town as fighting with pro-government armed groups continued further south. We were in Bambo when we heard the bombs detonate, so we fled straight away. Now we are on our way to Kirima, but we don't know where our final destination will be. When we had the bombs in our town, we took to the road to escape. We don't know whether the enemy has taken Bambo or not, but we do know that they're already there. We've seen the enemy. They are in the town of Bambo. Our soldiers went to the front, but after a while they came back to town. We waited a little longer. Then the soldiers came back to tell us to evacuate because the M23 fighters were firing bombs, and these bombs were falling on people since they were firing in all directions. Despite a deal signed with the government in 2013, fighters in the ranks of the March 23 movement took up arms again in 2021. They had taken the town of Bambo in November 2022 before withdrawing in April this year. The ongoing fighting against pro-government militias in eastern DRC has forced thousands to flee. The UN peacekeeping mission, due to leave Mali by December 31st, is conducting a sensitive pullout. The MINUSMA completed its accelerated withdrawal from Tessalit on October 22nd, then from Aguelok the next day. Analyst Ali Tunkara explains why armed groups in the region seek to control evacuated MINUSMA camps. The speed with which the UN's mission compound in Aguelok was ransacked by armed men shows just how strategic this locality remains for the signatory movements of the Peace and Reconciliation Agreement and for violent radical groups. Some of the signatories of the 2015 Algiers Accords have resumed hostilities against Mali's central government, ramping up attacks against the army, just like Al-Qaeda-affiliated groups. As far as the state of Mali is concerned, there is no ambiguity today. The movements that signed the agreement and the armed terrorist groups are evolving together. As a result, the various communiques issued by the state of Mali make no attempt to distinguish between the armed movements and the terrorist groups. Mali's government has accused MINUSMA of leaving free hand to terrorists as the mission expedites its withdrawal. Next week, MINUSMA is set to close the large Kidal base, a move initially scheduled in mid-November.
And now in sports news, New Zealand and South Africa will both be bidding to become the first men's team to win 4 World Cups when they meet in Saturday's final in Paris. Head coach Jacques Neniba has made 2 changes from the team that beat England by a single point in the semi-final. Faf de Klerk comes in as scrum half, while Henry Pollard takes the fly half shirt. Nenba has opted for 7-1 split of forwards and backs among the replacements in the hope that they can beat the All Blacks in the forward battle. In their campaign for the 4th Webb Ellis Trophy, the Springboks have had their ups and downs. The sides last met in August, with South Africa emerging winners. Both teams have won World Cups on 3 occasions, with New Zealand the only side to ever mount a successful defense. If New Zealand can beat defending champions South Africa at the Stade de France, Sam Whitelock would also become the first male player to win the tournament on 3 occasions, following his back-to-back successes with the All Blacks in 2011 and 2015. The final will kick off today at 21 hours local time.
Team South Africa were in a relaxed mood as they trained ahead of the Rugby World Cup final against New Zealand, scheduled on Saturday. In their campaign for 4th Webb Ellis Trophy, the Springboks have had their ups and downs. South Africa's assistant coach focused Friday on the squad's combativeness.
I know before the tournament no one thought maybe it will be the All Blacks and the Springboks, you know, most especially also losing the first game. The All Blacks had lost a game. We lost against Ireland, and everyone thought, okay, Ireland will probably be a good chance to be in the final, and France, you know. But the way we fought the past 2 games, you could just see that it wasn't only about the game, you know. It was just bigger than the rugby game. So hopefully tomorrow we'll keep on fighting, and hopefully we'll make our country proud. And we know how tough it is back at home sometimes with all the challenges. But yeah, we'll just make sure that we give our people back at home a bit of light.
Both teams have won the World Cup on 3 occasions, with New Zealand the only side to ever mount a successful defense. The sides met in August, with South Africa emerging winners. Saturday's final will kick off at 9 p.m. UTC+2.
Let's take another look at the stories that made the headlines. Former President Edgar Lungu returns to active politics. Police in Lusaka arrest 223 people following a raid in notorious CHIBOLYA compound. Over 1,227 married couples working within the public service reunited. And in international news, residents flee as M23 rebels reach town of BAMBO in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. And in sports news, New Zealand and South Africa crash in Rugby World Cup final. Before we go, let's now take a look at the Camnet verse of the day, which comes from the book of Ephesians chapter 5 verse 18. And it reads, "Do not be drunk with wine, because that will ruin your life. Instead, be filled with the Holy Spirit." That's it. That's all we had for the news. Don't forget to join us for another bulletin. On behalf of the entire news team, my name is Marco Kwakozi. Have a blessed night.